welcome to our book launch today. We are launching Sacred Promise, an anthology by Dr. Tererai Trent. My name is Peace Mitchell, and I'm co-founder of the Women's Business School and Women Changing the World Press. Women Changing the World Press publishes books by thought leaders, storytellers, and women changing the world in all kinds of ways. And we are so honored to be bringing this book to the world. Sacred Promise is a truly beautiful book containing the stories of women from all over the world who've shared their vision and their sacred promise and the journey that has led them to discovering their sacred promise and bringing it to reality. It's now my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Tererai Trent, the author of The Awakened Woman and affectionately known as Oprah Winfrey's all-time favorite guest. Please join me on stage, Tererai.
Thank you, Peace, for having me. I am just so thrilled to be here and to start talking about Sacred Promise. It has been quite a journey for us, and wow, thank you for bringing that platform for us to be able to publish this book. Oh, what a book. The stories are just amazing. 36 women contributed to this book.
Such an incredible book, Tererai. Can you tell us a bit about why this book is so important, the topic of a sacred promise? What does that mean to you?
You know, I have always said to myself, we women, there is something that holds us when we define our dreams, when we say, I'm not going to give up. What is it? And for me, it was this promise that I don't want to pass on this ugly baton of illiteracy, the baton of early marriage that I had received from my ancestors. So I kept that promise that I'm not going to pass it on to the next generation. And it kept me, it grounded me. Whenever I was feeling some challenges, I would go back to that promise. So I thought, let me find women who are willing to share their own stories, to share that sacred promise that determined and grounded their own dreams in this life. And oh, girl, the promises came. It was just phenomenal.
It has been incredible. And the women that we've uncovered from all over the world who have dedicated their lives to their sacred promise to themselves to change the world in some way has been incredible.
Yeah. From all over the world. I mean, all these 36 women are coming from everywhere. And the ideas that they are bringing, the sacred promise, and how they have achieved their own dreams and goals in this life by holding on to that promise, the unbreakable promise. You can't compromise on it. No matter the challenges, you will say, I'll still hold on because I have to achieve this dream.
Yeah, and it's just incredible, the stories that they share. So today, it's our pleasure to be introducing some of those women and chatting with them about their sacred promise and their story. And so I'd love to hand over to you now, Tererai, and welcome our first author to the stage.
Yeah. So welcome. Our first author is Sandy. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, g'day, Tererai. G'day, everyone.
How are you? So Sandy, before we delve into this Sacred Promise book, I know we have been on quite a journey, writing your own chapter. And I just want you to introduce yourself to our audience so they know who you are, where you are zooming from, and your location, and anything else that you might want to share with the audience.
Yeah, so my name's Sandy Davies. I am here today on Eastern Guguyalanji land, whose elders past and present and emerging I honor with absolute deep abiding respect. I never expected to be living in far north Queensland in the Daintree rainforest on the edge of the Great Barrier Reef, because I was born and raised in Kansas. But a number of opportunities landed me in Australia, and that's where I've built my life and continued out my sacred promise.
I read your chapter. It's fascinating, and I just love the way you write. But tell me, what's your sacred promise, and why was it, or is it important for you?
Yeah, well, my sacred promise is ad astra per aspera, which is Latin for to the stars through difficulties. So that is the state motto of the state of Kansas in the United States, where I was born. And that theme of to the stars through difficulties, that has been the phrase that has carried me through every heartbreak, every tragedy, and helped me celebrate every joy. And I guess the biggest message of that to the stars through difficulties for me as a sacred promise is, I write in the chapter a little bit about a horrific bullying experience that I went through. And through that, I learned we have to be our own coach. We have to be our own cheerleader. And more than that, we have to be our own champion. And when we master those things for ourselves, then we have to cheer on and coach and champion others.
Yeah. That's important. We have to be our own masters. We are the dreamers. We create our own pathway. I love that. So why was it important for you to be part of this anthology?
Do you know, I'm still just saying, pinch me about being a part of this anthology. It's such an honor to be writing alongside you, Tererai, and all of the other authors. And do you know, I often think back to you and I had a bit of a sliding doors moment. I was hammering in like the last nail of a Habitat for Humanity house 20 miles north of where you were hammering in a first nail into a Habitat for Humanity house. And I just love that our paths were so close then and didn't connect until now.
And now we connect through this book, this amazing book. Oh my goodness. And you know, as I was reading your chapter, there were so many lessons. And of all the lessons that you provided, is there one that you want your readers to gain from?
Do you know, well, there's so many. And you know, always hold your head high and always define yourself from that inner light and that inner spark, because even if you are dealing with people who are trying to extinguish that spark or that light, that flame will never extinguish, and you have the power to fan that flame. And even if you're coming into this moment at a place where you think the flame is extinguished, it's not. It is still there, and the flame will reignite. And then you have the opportunity to go on to live out your sacred promise the same as I have.
Sandy, you always talk about the power of giving back. In what ways are you going to give back through this book?
Do you know the biggest way of giving back through this book? It is just such an honor to be a part of knowing that all of the proceeds from the sales of the Sacred Promise are going to go to the Tererai Trent International Foundation. And for me, from way back at the very start of my career, I always said that education is power. And education is that thing that no one can ever take away from us. And it is the thing that gives us the capacity to step up to achieve each dream. So for me and for anyone who purchases Sacred Promise, oh my goodness, the giving back is that we are providing an opportunity and a pathway for university education for someone else after us.
Thank you. We really appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Now we want to move on to our next speaker, and thank you so much, Sandy. I think this book is going to be remarkable. I think the world is going to be in a gosh, how do I even say it? I think everybody is going to love these chapters. The way they read and the way they are written, it's just amazing. It blows my mind. Now, let's go to the next author. The next author is Dr. Vicky. Dr. Vicky. Let's hear about Dr. Vicky's chapter. Oh, she's an amazing woman. Reading through your chapter, I was in tears.
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
before we go into your chapter, please, would you mind to introduce yourself to our audience and let us know where you're coming from, where you are right now?
Sure. Thank you so much, Tererai. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I am Dr. Vicky Altman. I reside in the state of Maryland in the U.S. I am the founder and CEO of Altman Education Foundation, LLC, where I conduct historical family research. I'm also a retired vice principal with over 35 years in the education system. Um, the founder and president of Forgotten Memories Foundation, 501c3, where we are restoring abandoned African American cemeteries. Also, I'm the director of education for the Wanda Durant Foundation here in Maryland. And lastly, I am the co-author of my first children's book alongside my daughter, The Adventures of Little Zaria.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, our history, our story. Yes, indeed. And I have to mention my husband. Yes, I've been married 37 years. To Anthony, I have two children, Janice and Anthony, one son-in-law, Sydney, and two grandchildren. Yes.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wow. Like I said, I read your chapter and I was in tears the way you write. And so what's your promise? What's your sacred promise? And why is it important to you?
Yes.
To the world?
Yeah. So I'm a grandmother's child. I've always been, I just felt my comfort around the elders in the family. So my sacred promise was to the elders that I will find the missing pieces of our family history taken away centuries ago. And in fulfilling this sacred dream, it meant opening old wounds for our healing process. And it was important to me because I knew that our umbilical cord was buried in Africa.
Oh. Oh, talk of the umbilical cord. Oh my goodness. It's such a powerful chapter, by the way.
Thank you.
And why was it important for you to be part of this collection, to be part of these other 36 authors?
Okay, yes. It just hit home because the world is hurting. And with alongside the sisters and telling our stories will be part of the healing process.
Yeah.
Also, I needed to be in the presence of like-minded sisters, strong, confident, humble, powerful, and resilient. And also, your life is a testimony of survival. So with all that together, I mean, that is, you diagnose and you prescribe. That is definitely the prescription of healing for the world.
Oh, collectively, when we sisters come together, we can heal our own wounds, but we also have the capacity to heal the world. And thank you for that. And reading through the umbilical cord and knowing that your ancestors' umbilical cords are buried in Africa. There are so many takeaways from that. Our connection to the earth, our connection to the universe, our connection to God. So I wanted to find out from you of all the lessons that you write in this chapter. is there one particular lesson or a message that you want your audience to know about?
Yes, indeed. And the lesson is to never give up on
Mm,
your dreams.
mm,
Never. There will be destiny helpers along the way. You have to live a purpose
yeah.
driven life, walking in your purpose.
Mm,
When walking in your purpose, your destiny helpers will be there to
mm,
guide you. You must find
mm.
the love you have for yourself because you are enough for this world and have a right to be part of the solution.
Wow, wow. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes,
Vicky. Thank you
yes.
so much. I can't wait to see readers reading into your chapter, especially when you talk about the soul wounding.
Yes.
Ah, that's just powerful. Just
Oh my goodness.
it's so
Thank you.
powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am
So
excited.
now, oh my goodness, now let's move to the next author. Oh my goodness. This one is Brenda. Brenda, she is a fascinating story. I also read her chapter, and I mean, all these chapters, they left me in tears, inspiration, those tears of hope, those tears of lived experiences, and just knowing that here is an author who is going to make a mark in the world. So before we delve into your chapter, Brenda, would you mind to introduce yourself so people will get to know who you are, where you are coming from, your location right now?
Thank you, Dr. Tererai, for giving me an opportunity to introduce myself. So my name is Brenda Kokiai. I come from Bougainville in Papua New Guinea, but I currently live in Cairns, Australia. I am a full-time student at JCU this year. I'm studying a Bachelor's of Business and majoring in accounting.
So share with the audience, share with your readers about your chapter. Tell me, what's your sacred promise and why was it important to write about?
My sacred promise is to help other people and to provide opportunities for those who are unfortunate than I am. And the reason why I've made this promise is because throughout my life, ever since I was in a civil war, people have helped me without judging who I am. So I thought I could
Indeed.
give back.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. Indeed, we stand on the shoulders of others. We can't do what we do without others. And thank you for honoring and celebrating those who helped you during the war. I know it was a terrible time for you, but the way you write it, you give hope to those who are in similar situation. And thank you for that. But tell me, why was it important for you to be part of this anthology?
Well, for a long time, I've been thinking of writing a book. I didn't know how to go about it. But I had read about you well before this book came about, and you inspired me. And I thought to myself, look at this lady. She was married very young. She had dreams. She never gave up. How about me? What can I do? She can inspire me, and I can't be just watching it. I'll have to do something for myself. And so I decided to be a part of this, and I think you played a vital role in this. But the other thing also I wanted to do was to share my story because I thought it might inspire somebody. I thought someone may have gone through similar situations than me. And they might look at it and think, all right, well, I want to be like, because see, you inspired me. So I thought I might inspire someone else. I thought it should be told. Yeah.
And you are. I think you are going to inspire many, because it's the way you write, the way you describe the civil war that you went through, and hiding and being found out. It's fascinating. It reads more like a movie, and there you are. And let me say this: when we share our stories, not only are we healing ourselves, we are also healing the world. And I'm telling you, this book collectively, it's a healer, and many women will love this book. And I truly enjoyed your chapter. And for the lessons, is there a lesson that you want to leave your readers, to leave the audience with?
No matter how you have been treated, no matter how hurt you are, always rise up to the occasion.
Yes.
Shift your focus to the good things.
Yes.
Shift your focus on just being kind and generous and help others. Forget about your bitterness. They're not going to help you. And I don't think I would be where I am if I was bitter towards those who caused me injustice.
Oh,
I have forgiven them.
thank you. Thank you.
And I have moved on. And I think that's why I see my life the way it is. But I must say that talking about this makes me sad. But it's past. It's gone. It's just a story I'm telling.
It's not like you are sad because you're thinking about it. I always talk about sometimes when that hunger rises within us, when it rises, we feel the tears of that hunger, the tears to do good. And like my mother would always say, and I think you have just said it so beautiful, we are born to forgive. And you just said it so beautiful. And thank you for joining in the writing of this book. Thank you very much, Brenda. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
So now we are coming to our last author, Gertrude. Her story, her chapter, if you read it, you will love it. She is also a very good writer, and I enjoyed the way she put the story together. All these authors, when you start reading, you don't want to put the book down. Welcome, Gertrude. Let's talk about this. Hey, Gertrude, how are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me, Dr. Tererai. I'm doing very well.
I'm so happy to see you. Gertrude, I know it has been quite a journey for us to be writing this book, and I'm so glad that you are part of the Sacred Promise. But before we delve into what's your promise, can you introduce yourself, who you are, where you are coming from, and the location where you are speaking from?
Thank you. As Dr. Tererai has said, I'm Gertrude Mudzingwa. I was actually born and raised in a village near the city of Gweru in Zimbabwe. But now I live in Durham, North Carolina, where I work at a retirement home as a home care aide. I really love my job over there because it's actually a ministry to be able to work with people who are helpless.
Oh, good for you.
I also do some humanitarian work for the United Methodist Church Global AIDS Fund, where we raise money for awareness for AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. So it helps many countries other than just Zimbabwe.
Oh, that's commendable. Thank
you.
Thank you for reaching out to the world. I really appreciate your work that you do.
Thank you.
Now, as I was saying, when I read your chapter, I just loved every word. You don't mince words. You just write it as it is. What's your sacred promise and why was it important? What is it?
My sacred promise is to always embrace change in order
Mhm,
to learn, grow, and evolve.
mhm.
As someone who has lived half my life in Zimbabwe and half my life in America, well, I say half as if it's ending. I have had an opportunity to live in two different cultures. So many years when I was younger, I found my character changing all of a sudden.
Mm,
And because I was raised in an environment whereby children are seen and not heard, I
yeah.
couldn't tell anybody what was happening to me, why all of a sudden I was sad and
Oh,
tearful. And since I didn't have the vocabulary either to tell my parents what was going on,
mhm.
they decided to take me to witch doctors and false
And,
prophets.
and that's the reason why you wrote this book. Don't give away
Yes.
too much. This is really fascinating. I love it. I love it. But tell
So,
me. I can just see your story in a movie because it's the way you write it, the way you 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 you, you construct
mhm,
who you are in that story, but also the way you inspire the world to
mhm,
say, these are the things that happened to me, but I'm
mhm.
not holding any grudge. I've
Yes.
decided to move on, but
Mhm,
also to
mhm.
make a promise to make sure that no child would go through what I have gone through. I just
Yes,
love
yes.
that about your book, about your chapter. So
Yes.
why was it important for you to be part of this anthology, to be part of this collection, to write with other women?
Actually, I wanted to tell my life experiences in order to demystify the stigma associated with childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually, when people don't understand uh, the effects of childhood trauma,
Yeah.
they tend to harass and judge and
Mm-hmm.
even be violent sometimes towards you or just discriminate you just because you are different.
Yes.
So when I found out that whatever happened to me is what was responsible for the way I was behaving as a child and as a teenager, I
Mm,
thought probably if I come out and talk about my life experiences, I might help some people who have been through the same. And I'll also help educate the masses of people to understand that it's not good to judge people unless you have been in their shoes. If
mm,
you don't know why someone is unhappy or just being different from the way you are, don't
yes.
judge them. Try to learn, ask them what happened to you, if
Mm,
possible.
You are
And
right.
if they tell you it's better to direct them in the right direction, send them to therapy so they
Mm.
can have a good life like yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, trauma, it's something that we all talk about. And
Yes.
the way you write about it, I think uh, the listeners and those who are going to read this book, they can resonate with some of your writing. And I really, I think you are providing a platform for healing and also giving voice to those who are voiceless. Because when we share our stories, in many ways, we are creating a voice for others, a platform for others to also begin to share their own story. Of all the lessons that are in your chapter, is there one that you want your readers to gain from?
Yes. I want to say to the masses of people listening, there is life after trauma. It
Mm,
doesn't matter what type of trauma you have been through. Speak your pain, find healing, and you can actually be able to live a productive and happy life after that.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That really touches my heart. Oh, now we have come to the end of our session. And I would love to invite everybody to come in and let's just do our bye-bye and see what else is there. Yes. Hey, Peace, if we can have a photo, a video of all of us, that would really be nice.
Wonderful. All right. Well, that was so inspiring, everyone. Thank you so much. We are just honored to have you as a part of this book, Sacred Promise, and your stories are truly remarkable. I cannot wait for this book to go out into the world and see the ripple effect of your stories and the impact that that will have on other women, inspiring them to have the courage to follow their sacred promise. And I'm truly excited to see what will happen.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Peace, and thank you to all our authors. That was fabulous. Thank you for your presentations. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone, and we look
Thank you
forward
very
to
much.
seeing you all again
Thank you.
soon.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.